I literally woke up not long ago. My face is feeling so good. I just felt like, I've been having a lot of lessons this past week. One of them is to slow down and also be honest about where you're kind of at in life and not just show the beautiful parts. And this is what it looks like. I feel like, obviously there's a time and a place to do YouTube videos of like dressing up and looking great, and for some people that really works for them, but this is me. I have crazy hair that I probably haven't washed in a few days. Drinking my coffee. My flyaways are all over the place. My bed is not made. This is the messy middle of it all. So maybe we need to show more of our messy middle. Speaking of messy middle, today I'm gonna talk about Mercury Retrograde. This is a big one, so I wanted to do a video on it. If you're interested, keep on watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney. Today we're gonna talk about Mercury Retrograde. Yeah, the most talked about retrogrades of them all on the internet. Every single person loves to make memes about these. We know about Mercury Retrograde, but this one coming up is particularly, not a word. I have no idea what I'm trying to say. This Mercury retrograde coming up, I have already been feeling, and I'm pretty sure many other people have too. I just feel like it's a very important one to talk about for a few reasons that I'm going to outline in this video. Retrogrades force us to go slower. We as a human race and society, especially here in the Western world, we don't like to go slow. And it's like, why? Just getting a little bit closer for y'all, So what am I trying to say? When it comes to retrogrades, they essentially force us to go slower. That's kind of why I feel like Mercury retrograde gets this bad rap. It's like, oh my God, it's gonna like disrupt my life. Like things are gonna stop working. We're gonna get slowed down. We don't like to be slowed down. We wanna go fast all the time. We want to move to our dreams. We want to move forward. We want to get to the future destination and constantly keep going. And there's a time and a place for that, and it's great. And obviously we need that in our lives. The world does have to keep going. But what have we been learning from 2020? 2020 has been a year filled with retrogrades. At one point we had 6 planets in retrograde all at the same time. It's just been like one planet will move out of retrograde and then the other one will move back in. So it's this constant moving forward, moving backward. It's something that we're getting used to, but it is something that's frustrating for a lot of people. It's just lessons that we're learning. I will admit, I don't love the fact that like you constantly have to slow down, or I don't have the answers that I want and the questions that I want answered. Even the fact of like learning to, instead of like moving super fast through things, having to really like sit with things or listen to my body, which has been a huge lesson in my life. That's a huge part of what retrogrades kind of are all about. It's about going back over the plans, about revisiting old ideas and not starting something new. Instead, like going back over things and maybe like revising certain areas that we could sort of fix up. So this retrograde that I wanted to talk about I haven't actually done the Scorpio video, the water signs yet, but so basically I just gave you a little bit of an outline on what a retrograde is. That's when we're going backwards, when we're revisiting, having to go inward versus outward. It's a bit more of that yin energy. And now let's talk about this particular one, Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. However, it has a fiery, passionate depth to it. And when we have Mercury in Scorpio, it's all about feeling emotions. It's a powerhouse. It is literally the phoenix rising. Mercury is all about our communication, how we think, how we talk, how we communicate with one another, our technology. It also rules travel and our environment, like where we're going, how we're getting there. So this is why when Mercury is retrograde, we often see things come up around like accidents and travel plans being kind of like interrupted, which it's like, okay, let's be serious. I think we're all sort of expecting our travel plans to be like semi-interrupted at the moment, but whatever. With this retrograde, it's gonna be some deep, how do I even want to explain this? A lot of feelings and emotions are filled with passion, energy that really encourages us to look deep within our shadows. When we think about Scorpio, another part of that is like Scorpio energy does rule the dark. We all have a shadow self. When it comes time to have such a powerful transit such as Scorpio in sign of Mercury, this is really encouraging us to, dare I say, go inward and look at our shadows. Our fears are gonna get illuminated, and it's really a time to like clear out everything that we've shoved underneath the rug and deal with it. It's not easy work. Scorpio energy isn't easy. It's transformative, and it literally is like, when used properly, you can really transmute it into like this beautiful new beginning. However, moving through it, especially in the sign of Mercury, it can be really tough. Feeling that I'm kind of getting coming through with this is potentially a lot of deep, dark emotion, which can lead to things like mental health. But one of the reasons why I feel like this is going to come up during this time is because Scorpio is such a deep feeler. They need to go inward. They are an inward sign, and they have to really process their own emotions and feel through things before they can really get to that point of like positive transformation. When our darkness comes up, it can be really confronting because Mercury really wants us to have better communication with ourselves and others. Those things are coming up so that we can actually work through them. Sometimes there are things that we really have left kind of on the back burner for a long time that we don't want to deal with, which makes them really, really tough. If you're somebody who has Mercury and Scorpio, you're probably someone who really craves deep connection, emotional connection. You're not necessarily afraid to explore the dark parts, see the depth in another person, which sometimes that's things that scares people, but that's not something that scares Scorpio. When we're dealing with this as a collective, I believe that perhaps there is a chance for a time of lots of change here in North America. This is the election. Mercury is going retrograde in Scorpio on October the 13th and goes direct on November the 3rd, which is the day of the election. And Scorpio does have an energy of a little bit of manipulation and jealousy. So there could be a potential that what's happening right now and the way that we think things are gonna go isn't actually the way it's gonna happen on November 3rd. It's kind of a guessing game and also a little bit mysterious as well. So what we might be hearing, what we might be seeing, what might be coming up might not actually be what happens when Mercury goes direct. There might be a whole other outcome that we don't even see coming. The other thing I really wanted to talk about with this energy and kind of going back to that mental health piece is that this is an invitation to feel your feels. It's hard, it's uncomfortable, and when we have time to go inward, first thing we want to do a lot of that time is to move away from it. We want to let go of the pain. We want to get out of it. It's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good. Like, the more that we can sit in this energy and feel our feelings, remember that the only way out is through, the faster that you actually do transform and transmute that energy into what it needs to be. It's really tough. It's not easy work. With this energy, it is kind of asking us to do that hard work, so then that way we can prepare ourselves for what's coming. Yeah, I think overall it's just like, Mercury in retrograde can be a really interesting transit, and you'll hear everybody around the world in their memes on Instagram be like, don't buy a house, don't move, don't sign things, don't travel, don't do this. And it's like, at the end of the day, you still gotta live your life. There is, I've had great experiences during Mercury retrograde. Things come back around, and at the end of the day, that's part of your soul's contract. So whatever's gonna happen during that time, it's supposed to happen. You're either gonna run into the fire, or you're gonna say, this is a test, and I know that that's not for me. It's one or the other, and sometimes you have to run into the fire in order to learn your lesson. Whatever it may be for you, don't let the memes scare you. We've been going through a lot of retrogrades already this year, and you've made it to this point. So by no means is the next couple weeks gonna be a walk in the park, but this is an invitation to feel your feels, reach out for support the people that are in your community, your friends and family, and really use this time to, if you're gonna talk about your feelings and be vulnerable and go down that route, which you're being invited to, remember that by doing that, we actually form a better sense of connection, not only with ourselves, but with those other people in our lives. And if you're choosing to share it on social media, it's actually kind of a blessing, because if you're feeling something, chances are one of the other millions of people in the world are feeling the exact same way, and what you have to say might actually change their life. This energy is going to be with us for the next couple weeks, so I want to say good luck, but I already know everybody's got this, and it's going to be heavy, and you're going to get through it the way that it is. So remember, every storm runs out of rain. I heard that, and that's a Maya Angelou quote. The other thing is that you can't have dark without the light, and you can't have light without the dark. This is really good energy to bring both in together. Learn to work with them both. Remember that this isn't gonna last forever. With that being said, I don't know the answers on how to get through this time. I just know that nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass, and that's my take on this Mercury in retrograde. There's a whole bunch more out there. You can go and research it yourself. I'm also probably gonna write a blog, so I'll link that down below. Oh, down below. But I just hope that everyone's enjoying some slowness, remembering that everything that this year has been teaching us it's been a lot. Anyway, I hope that everyone is doing okay. We'll see you on the other side of Mercury retrograde, am I right? We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. This is the last Mercury retrograde of 2020, people. Let's do it. Okay, like, comment, subscribe, because it really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Running down.